televised. From the Magic City, the sun and fun capital of the world, Miami, Florida, through the incredible speed of the MCR 315 computer, Warner Productions proudly presents the all-time heavyweight championship tournament. Hi, everybody. This is Murray Warner at the Miami Convention Hall for the final fight of the quarterfinal round of the all-time heavyweight tournament. Tonight's match features the Boilermaker, Jim Jeffries, and the Louisville Lip, Muhammad Cassius Clay Ali. The all-time heavyweight tournament is made possible through the cooperation of the City of Miami, Ring Magazine, Chris and Angelo Dundee, and Mr. Hank Kaplan of the World Boxing Historians Association. We'll be back in a moment with Guy LeBeau and the details and some comments about tonight's match. Back at Miami Convention Hall for tonight's quarterfinal round match, and here's the guy who makes the computer readout come alive, Guy LeBeau.
Thank you very much, Maury Warner. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Tonight we're going to have this great 16-man field cut down to the four best after tonight's match.
Tonight's winner goes against Rocky Marciano in the semifinals, which start next week with the Brown Bomber, Joe Louis, meeting the Manasseh Mauler, Jack Dempsey, and what a finish we're going to have, Guy.
Yeah, and things have been furious enough already, Murray, and it's hard to see how they could get any wilder. Of course, this guy, Clay, has a way of making wild things happen.
But Clay wore out Max Schmeling in the first round of our tournament, taking a clear-cut decision after going down himself in the seventh round. And that's one of the big questions tonight. If Jeffries gets Clay down, will he be able to muster enough strength to come back the way he did against Schmeling?
Well, Clay isn't given much of a chance of winning by a KO tonight against Jeffries, not unless he cuts him.
Muhammad Ali is 6'3" and weighs 211 pounds, so he's no little man. He's 22, at the peak of his career, and this comes as something of a surprise. His reach is 6 inches longer than Jeffries. Cassius has won all 29 of his pro fights, 24 by knockouts. He's a super combination puncher. He has so much speed, and he knocked out bulls like Sonny Liston with his right hand and cut up any number of opponents with his talented left. His defense and counterpunching ability are far greater than anything from the Jeffries era. Clay took the title from Sonny Liston on a TKO in 1964 here in Miami. Now let's listen to a segment of Clay's first round fight with Max Schmeling.
Clay and Schmeling standing toe-to-toe. Clay punching downward at the head. Schmeling blasting upward, and every once in a while shifting to the body to get leverage. This is at the point of exhaustion for both men, and the crowd is going mad. This is Clay in the best fight he's ever fought, and the same goes for Max Schmeling. Clay giving ground a little bit. Now exchanges jabs with Schmeling. Clay puts 2 jabs to the mouth, 2 more jabs, but Schmeling now seems unconscious of the jabs raining in. He wants Clay for the hooks. Now he jabs and crosses to Clay's chin. No tie-up, no let-up. Clay takes a right to the body. They go in close. Clay pumps against Max's ear again. Schmeling hooks hard to the head. Seconds only remaining, and when this fight is over, you can bet the rafters here in Miami Convention Hall will ring. Clay is at the track again with a left jab to the mouth, a left jab to the face by Clay. Clay hooks the head with 2 hands, darts away from Schmeling's return. They exchange jabs again. Schmeling comes welling in, and Clay takes off with a jab to the head, a jab to the face. There's the bell. Man, that's a lot of speed and aggressiveness. And Jeffries may have the size and punch to offset it. Big Jeff is 6'2 1/2. He weighs 225 pounds, and listen to this. I always think this is incredible. He won the heavyweight championship of the world in his 13th professional fight. He beat Bob Fitzsimmons. He whacked away at him in club fighter style. He had his opponents on record down 22 times in 23 fights. He was down only twice himself. Not much of a defensive fighter, they say, or a counterpuncher, but he could wear you out with strength and endurance.
Before it gets too close to fight time, let's have a few words with Angelo Dundee, Clay's manager and trainer. Angelo, would you like to give us your evaluation of Cassius Clay?
Cassius Clay, in my honest, humble opinion, as much as I know about boxing, I think he will go down in history as the greatest heavyweight of all time, barring nobody. I think he would have beat every heavyweight, without a doubt in my mind. He could do everything and do it well.
What about Clay's courage, especially in that first fight with Sonny Liston when he wanted to quit in the corner?
I have to say he got all kinds of courage. The episode with Liston is overdone. The episode, if I was in his position, I probably would have jumped out of the ring. Because here you are in a fight, fighting for the championship of the world. You're a young kid, 22. And here you are, you can't see. There wasn't lack of guts. There was nothing of the kind. He just couldn't see. And he wanted everybody to know that something was being done to him.
Tonight's winner will meet Rocky Marciano in the semifinals, and we've been talking to The Rock about his evaluation of Cassius Clay.
I think it's just too early to really analyze Cassius Clay. I think that so far he has proven that he's a very, very good fighter. He's learning his trade. He's improving. He's looking better all the time. Right up to now, he has proved that there's nobody around that can even get in the same ring with him.
How about a Marciano-Clay fight?
It would be a great fight because of the styles, the contrasting styles, because I would be the aggressor and because Clay would be the man that moved around. Sort of like a Jack Dempsey, Gene Tunney type of fight.
We'll be back in just a minute with some more opinions on the outcome of tonight's fight.
Joe Louis has some interesting theories about Clay, the ring ropes, whether or not he can take a punch.
Oh, yeah, he takes a punch all right. But about Clay, we don't know really, nobody knows really how good Clay really is because really nobody around to give him a real good fight. He's so much over his opponents now until, that he don't have to worry about making mistakes because he knows he can make a mistake and get away with it. And
Now, how about you, though? If you were planning to fight Clay, would you make any special plans on how you would approach the fight?
Well, in no other way I could fight Clay, but just keep him going back. See, Clay going back, he have no punch at all. He have nothing. In fact, no one who's going back. Ray Robin, the only fight I know that could hit you going back, hit you with a punch going back, hit you maybe with coming forward. But Clay, when he goes back, and when he get near the ropes, he gets somewhat fused that as soon as the back hit the ropes, he don't know which way to go, which way to go come off the ropes. And a lot of times he comes off straight. A lot of times he comes off right into man left hook, up to the man right hand.
To show what Clay will be facing tonight, let's listen to a brief portion of Jim Jeffries' 10th round knockout of Joe Walcott in one of the early fights in the all-time heavyweight tournament.
Jeffries leaps at him. Jeffries pounds a hard left and right at the body. Walcott hurt again by those bursting bounds. Walcott in defense pumps the left in the eye of Jeffries, who is bowed slightly, but Walcott is the target now. Walcott takes crushing lefts and rights to the midsection that hurt. Walcott hangs on to Jeffries. Jeffries pulls him into the ropes. Joe is pounding Jeffries' head as they fall back toward the ropes, and they're tied up again with everybody in the place standing up. Walcott simply cannot take much more. Rudy Goldstein is out there to separate them. He has said something to each as he separates the men at ring center. Jeffries beginning again, feints with the right. Walcott moves back slightly. Jeffries shoots a hard left with the body. Walcott is a sitting duck. He's hurt. He's hurt. Jeffries hooks a left to the head, a right to the jaw. Walcott is now defenseless. He's through. I'm sure of that. He is through. There's a right to the face, a left, a right and left to the jaw, and Walcott is down. Walcott is down in a small huddle. Walcott is down. The count is 5, 6, 7. He can't make it. 8, 9, 10. Walcott is out. Jersey Joe Walcott has been knocked out by Jeffries. He took an inhuman beating for several rounds, stood all he could. The head punches preceded by the body-crushing blows, simply intolerable. Jersey Joe Walcott is down and out.
Well, we're back at Miami Convention Hall where Cassius Clay, the Louisville Lip, meets the Boilermaker Jim Jeffries tonight in a fight scheduled for 15 rounds for the right to fight Rocky Marciano in the semifinal of the all-time heavyweight championship tournament.
I've been talking to Jersey Joe Walcott. He's the fellow that refereed that one-round knockout of Clay's with Sonny Liston. And I wanted to find out what he thought of Clay.
I think Clay is the greatest heavyweight champion we've ever had. I think he boxes as well as any champ we've had, and I think he knows what he's doing while he's in that ring.
And here's Jack Sharkey. He says he's been keeping an eye on Clay.
Well, I've selected him from his first bout. Well, Clay is in there for a long time, and as I say, that he'll die of old age unless someone drops a bag of cement in his head as he's walking down the street, and he's a good fighter. Don't make any mistakes about it. You take a young fella that's gone through the mill, fought all of these so-called great guys he's heard so much about, and when he's with a guy with a chip on his shoulder, and he's 21, 22, 23 years old, it's going to be a hard man to beat.
And here's Jack Kearns, Jr., son of Doc Kearns, a famous manager, who took a lot of lessons from his dad and has handled some fighters here in Miami, where he got a lot of looks at Cassius Clay in training. We asked him about Clay.
He's a mystery. 1 minute he'll look like the greatest fighter that ever was, and the next minute he looks like a scared rabbit. I don't know what it is about Clay. Clay has all the attributes of being a great fighter. He can punch pretty good. Not a great puncher. He's definitely quick and can move. Whether he can take a punch or not, I don't know, but he's been on the floor a few times and he's gotten up and come back. I saw Sonny Banks have him down and hurt him, and he came back and boxed his way out of it. The Liston fight, he was hurt several times. I think several times he wanted to quit. I think this would be Clay's only problem, is, to me, he's a very scary fighter. When the bell starts, he's scared to death, and he gains confidence as he goes, and he builds it up. I think this is part of his screaming annex, that it bolsters confidence within himself.
In 1 minute, we'll be back talking to another great champion, Jimmy Braddock.
We also asked Jim Braddock, another great champion, about Clay's technique.
He more or less tires the fella out just chasing him because the other fella's tense at all times looking to punch him. And he's not punching, but he's tense and he's tiring himself out. And by the time 3 or 4 rounds comes around, he's ready to be taking it.
How about Clay with Jeffries?
Well, Jim would have to catch him. Jim could take... he couldn't hurt Jim that much that walking in him would hurt him that much. Jim could take a great punch, as I said. He was the Boilermaker, and he's built like a boiler.
I guess a fight show with Cassius Clay on it would never be complete without a few words from Muhammad Ali himself. We asked him how we figured he would measure up against this great field of fighters.
Well, if that computer's accurate, I'd have went with all of them.
When we asked him what he thought of the old-timers.
Go watch those films. If you don't believe it, they fought like washwomen. I saw them. And if you see them, they had no class, no footwork, no speed, no color, no timing, no rhythm. They swung from the floor. When the man would fall, he would hit him before he'd get up. When the man would fall out of the ring, he wouldn't let him get in the ring. If I did it today, they'd say I'm the dirtiest fighter in the world.
When we questioned him on his speed...
Yes. Could you imagine Sugar Ray Robinson being a little faster with feet and hands and weighing 210 pounds? Sugar Ray Robinson, if you made him 210 pounds and made him even faster with feet and hands, well, that's me. But I'm faster than Sugar Ray. Feet and hands, I do more working. I cover more ring space. I'm moving. And so this is where you can look at it. A heavyweight Sugar Ray.
Well, we're just about ready to get underway. The fighters are in the ring. Ring announcer Paul Berman is walking over toward his microphone. And let's join him. Toby Goldstein gives the fighters their instructions. We're about ready for the start of this fight. We'll be back in just a minute. Jim Jeffries, blocky, strong, almost indestructible, calmly waiting. Angelo Dundee shouting up to Clay. Clay, confident and smiling. There's the bell. Here's Guy.
Thank you very much, Murray Warner. Good evening again, ladies and gentlemen. This is round one between Jim Jeffries, the Boilermaker, and Cassius Muhammad Ali Clay, the most controversial fighter of our time. Jeffries has a reputation of being one of the most fair and clean fighters ever to step into a ring. As they come in now and touch gloves, it appears to me Clay is still without question taller of the two. But at 6'3", he tops Jeffries by only half an inch. Taking off, Jeffries has the classic stance. The left hand is not extended at full range, the right hand at the hip. Clay takes one of the many boxing stances you'll see him take tonight. They circle out at the center of the ring. Jeffries tries a left jab. Clay dances away to his right. Clay lowers his left hand. Clay dangles the left hand. We'll see him do a lot of that. Jeffries moves slowly towards him like a Sherman tank. Jeffries puts a light left jab to the head of Cassius Clay. Clay does not return. Jeffries takes a step to the right with that massive leg. Clay makes no commission to that movement. He backs off half a step instead. Jeffries is weaving a powerful right hand around at the hip as if winding it up and getting it ready to throw. Jeffries waves the left hand long in front of Cassius Clay. Clay simply bats the left hand down and jabs Jeffries at the mouth as he dances away. Jeffries steps into Clay and bursts a good right under the heart, and there is the first explosive punch. Clay hooks a light left to the head. They move away from each other. Jeffries' right to the body is one of the two best punches in his arsenal. He is very strong. Some say the strongest in the ring ever, with the exception of Rocky Marciano, perhaps. Clay is not yet moving at top speed. Clay walks to the right. Jeffries follows the move and sinks another hard right to the body. That was beautifully executed, and it certainly piqued Clay a bit. It brings Clay's hard left counter to the head, smashing in. Clay hooks a light right to the head. He was bothered by being beaten by the blow of Jeffries. But Jeffries drives another right to the body and then ties up Cassius Clay. Clay had delivered a very fanciful two-handed counter to the head, but the body smash scored heavily for Jeffries. At the center of the ring once more, Clay moving swiftly, puts two jabs to the mouth. Jeffries misses a hook to the head. Clay tries a hook to the head, and Jeffries smashes the body again hard with a fine right hand. And if Schmeling was able to bother Clay in this tournament earlier with his punches, and if Clay lets too many of Jeffries' bombs come home, there could be trouble developing, and swiftly. Seconds left in this round, the first one, less than 30. Clay backs off. His left hand is extended at firing range. Clay jabs a left to the mouth, another left to the mouth by Clay, and Jeffries sends a good straight right to the head. Clay rips his own left hand to the head and hard. Jeffries moving to his right. There's the bell.
Clay tried to hit and run in round one, while Jeffries looks like his battle plan is to slow the speed merchant with body shots. There's the bell. Here's Guy.
Okay, Murray Warren. Now, this is round two, the quarterfinal round in the all-time heavyweight tournament. Cassius Muhammad Ali Clay and Jim Jeffries. At the center of the ring, it is Clay striking hard, fast, and first hooking a hard left to Jeffries' head and is away so fast. Jim started to throw a countering hand, but pulled it back. To have delivered it might have thrown him off balance. Clay steps back the range, and his long hand rips the head once more. And in a flash, Clay has been able to damage Jeffries, and Jim was hardly out of his stall. Now they spar in the ring off to the right. Clay dances out back to the center of the ring. Jeffries makes a very nimble turn with him. The nostalgia about Jeffries deals only with his alleged superhuman strength, but this unfortunately cuts across other boxing skills that Jeffries really had. Out near the center of the ring where Clay finds the friendliest field. Cassius stabs a left to the mouth. Jeffries tries to exchange, but his left is short. Then Jeffries finds Clay in range and deals him a good right shot under the heart. Clay has to back off, but there is a left jab and hard right cross to the mouth in turn by Clay. Jeffries, with head crouched in low, now delivers a straight right to the heart of Clay. Clay paddles backward quickly, and Jeffries misses a left to the body. Clay comes storming in again, as if to pick up a few stray chips on the mistake by Jeffries. But Jim has a guarding left hand up, and Clay's right to the head is blocked. Jeffries hooks a hard left to the body. Clay moving with the punch. Drives a straight right to the face, and nothing blocked that. And Jeffries seems to have felt that fully. Now Clay shoots a good left hook to the head. Jeffries misses a right, but hooks a solid left to the body, and Clay ties him up. And here is referee Ruby Goldstein to come in to the clinch. By the way, I think this is the first time we've heard from Goldstein in this fight. Clay's best punch is the right hand to the head. In the last moments, Jeffries has blocked one, felt one. It didn't feel good. Back out now at the center of the ring on the break. Clay feints with the left, dances away. His timing is magnificent. Less than a minute left to go. Jeffries seems unperturbed with all of the Clay histrionics and the speed. He has had one or two dancing masters in front of him, and he has full confidence that power will carry the day. Clay has never been subjected to an opponent with the hitting power of Jeffries, unless it was Sonny Liston, who wasn't at all willing to work. Out at the center of the ring, Clay puts a left jab to the head, another left jab, moving to his left as he does. Jeffries cautiously and unconcernedly moving forward. Clay is having an excellent round. If he lost the first, or even if it was even, he surely has squared the fight with an excellent showing now. Here's Clay with fine grace, stabbing a left jab to the teeth of Jeffries. Jeffries still stalks forward. Left hand slightly extended, held straight up. He's got a long way to go. He's not in any hurry. Seconds remaining here. There's the bell.
Clay was at his elusive best in round two. Elusive, unhittable, landing well, and clearly controlling the action. Here's Guy.
The NCR computer continues to bust out continuous comment on Clay's exceptional speed, and the argument is he is the fastest the heavyweight division has ever known. His speed against Schmeling is still the talk of this tournament. Out at the center of the ring, Big Jim Jeffries immediately goes to work on the body of Cassius Clay. There is a hard right to the midsection, and although his best punch is a left to the body, Clay, who most often is moving to his left and Jeffries' right, is too sweet a dish for Jeffries' right, not for Jim to throw it. Jeff now sends a light right to the body. Clay misses a jab at the face. Clay is back, and here is Clay with a hard right to the chin, and Jeffries has to shake his head and retreat to get himself clear. Clay's unexpected counter caught Jeffries unaware. Clay on the move, stabs a left to the face. Jeffries cocks his right but doesn't throw it. He menaced him that time to keep him away. Clay jabs again at the head. Jeffries misses a left to the head. Jeffries moves out of range. A minute has gone by. Jeffries at 6'2.5" is a beautiful-looking athlete and underestimated as a total fighter, in my opinion. Now Jeffries moves to his left. Clay goes with him and peppers the face with two jabs. Jeffries drives a hard right to the midsection. Clay hooks hard with left and right to the head. And Jeffries works his man to a clinch on the far ropes. They're tied up completely. Jeffries on top of Clay. Here's Goldstein speeding to the scene, and action resumes. Jeffries, I think, is underestimated in the very same way Babe Ruth was as a total baseball player. At the center of the ring now, Clay speeds back after stabbing the face with lefts and landing several. Jeffries moves after him. This is round 3, the quarterfinal round. This is Guy LeBeau with Murray Warner. Clay works in, clangs a hard left on Jeffries' head. Jim's massive top piece jerks a little at the force of that blow, but Jeffries lands a solid right to the body, misses a left hook there as Clay dances out of danger. This is the great computerized fight. Here comes Clay again. There's a pretty left jab and right cross to the face by Cassius. This guy has got every move and a few more. Jeffries now has Clay at close quarters. Here's Jeffries with a series of lefts and rights at the body. Here's another left and right to the body by Jeffries. But Clay, at the same time, is whacking the head and keeping the score at least even. And now they move into a clinch again with 30 seconds remaining. Jeffries, you know, KO'd Joe Walcott to get into this round against Cassius Clay. And Clay decisioned Max Schmeling in a good battle to earn his keep here. Out of the tie-up, Jeffries unloads a strong left to the head. Clay comes right back with a left to the head and a straight right to the face. And Jeffries sends a light right to the body. Clay at full speed. Clay jabbing the face, jabbing the chin. And Jeffries knows he's in a race, if not in a fight. This Clay is lightning. And there's the bell.
Round Round 3 appeared even in this computerized match between Muhammad Ali and Jim Jeffries, with both registering well. Now here's Guy LeBeau.
Okay, Murray Warren, out at the center of the ring we have two picture athletes, and here comes what may be an adjustment for the first time by the great Jim Jeffries. He is very good at the business of suiting up to meet opponent and occasion. Jeffries has his left hand extended now in jab position, but fairly high. He needs it there as he squares off with Cassius Muhammad Ali Clay. He is also in a semi-crouch. He innovated that, some say. Jeffries tries a jab to the mouth. He is way short. Clay is simply galloping on his horse around the ring. Jeffries keeps Clay in his sights, his right hand churning or winding up at the hip, but his left is on a fairly modern pose. Here's Clay landing a good left to the face, more of a hook. Jeffries drives a solid left hook to the body, and Clay moves away. He didn't like that. They circle again at the far side of the ring. Clay jabs. It's blocked. Jeffries again spears the body with his right. He has gotten some good right-hand shots in at Clay, and they will take a heavy toll on the Clay speed eventually, I imagine. Here's Clay dancing up and down. A minute gone by here in round 4. Now Clay stands on mark, his legs widely separated with his hands turning in front of him, much like the classic old-time fighters. It may be he intends to mimic Jeffries, to kind of psych him, but the humor is misdirected. Jeffries is an innovator. Jeffries, without regard now, jabs neatly at Clay's face, but doesn't make it. Clay just arches back much as Jack Johnson, his idol, used to do. But Jeffries springs at Clay with that heavyweight front. Here is a solid blast to the body, a good left to the head, a right to the jaw by Jeffries, and Clay has to take cover in a clinch at once. Clay had to take cover. And here's referee Ruby Goldstein speeding across the ring to part them. A beautiful flurry by Jeffries. Now coming out of the clinch, Clay suddenly delivers a solid left hook and right cross to the face. Here is Jeffries with a punching right to the mouth of Clay, and Clay again has to yield. Here is Jeffries coming back with a left to the head, and again they move into a clinch. Moving out of the clinch now, Jeffries has his chin buried deeply. He avoids a jab of Clay, blocks another, but lets one zero in. Clearly, Clay here in round 4 has been overconfident. Jeffries has patiently made a few adjustments like any great fighter would be able to do. It has put the quietus on Clay. 30 seconds left to go in this round 4 of this great computerized battle. Out at the center of the ring again. Jeffries still with left hand extended long, advancing at Clay, who now has his hands down at his side, and you'll see him do that quite a bit. Now he cuts across Jeffries' slow advance with a kind of a little prance of his own. Clay hooks a good left to the head. Jeffries drives a straight right to the mouth. Clay misses the body. Clay moves back a step. He puts a left jab and right cross to the head. But here's Jeffries again with a beautiful straight right to the head at the best.
Jeffries dropped his attack to score well at the body, and we could hear the oofs when he caught Clay in close range. There's the bell. Here's Guy.
Coming up to round 5 in this computerized match between Cassius Muhammad Ali Clay and Jim Jeffries, it becomes very, very clear that Clay's ability has been nullified by the persuasion to become a little overconfident. Sometimes, though, this picture of overconfidence is intended to psych out the opponent. At the center of the ring, the good-looking Jim Jeffries from Carroll, Ohio, managed by Bill Brady, out moving fairly quickly, but it's Clay opening up. Clay stabs him with the left hand. Jeffries sends a swift left hand back to the head of Clay. Clay puts another left jab to the face, but Jeffries' hard left hand more than nicked Clay at the mouth that time. Clay may not seek an exchange too soon, and perhaps will repair and start looking for the spots. It's incredible, but this big Cassius Clay at 6'3", 211 pounds, moves away like a middleweight at least. You cannot take a thing from him. Clay, moving back, puts a left jab to the mouth. Jeffries pounds a good left hand to the body. Another left to the body by Jeffries that's hard and lands. And Clay pillows in against Jeffries in the infighting. Clay wraps the head of Jeffries, but mistakenly, I think, is allowing himself to take body punishment as Jeffries jams the body with the left and then with the right. Whether Clay is allowing this arrogantly is again food for thought. But Jeffries is being allowed at the midsection, and that I must report to you. And now Clay does bring the hands down, and they move into a clinch. This is Guy LeBeau with Murray Warner at ringside of the all-time heavyweight tournament. Clay at his age peak is 22, Jeffries 24. Clay's best punch, the right to the head. Jeffries' best bomb, the left to the body. They square out again at the center of the ring. Here's Jeffries in that crouch again. And now it seems one pattern is clear on his side. The crouch proclaims definitely Jeffries is headed for the body, and there he is. Jeffries rips a straight right to the body of Clay. Clay tags the head with two left hands in turn. Clay now moves to the right. Jeffries with left hand slightly extended, feints the left. Clay misses a left over the head of Jeffries. Jeffries lands with a good solid left to the body. Jeffries follows with a good straight right under the heart, and Clay dances out of danger. The only man as tall as Jeffries that Clay has fought that I can recall is Ernie Terrell, but Terrell must not be mentioned in the same breath as Jeffries for power. And perhaps great speed is the hallmark of the great heavyweights of today and tomorrow. About 30 seconds remain in this round 5. At the center of the ring again, Cassius Clay is here missing a left hook to the head, and Jim Jeffries moves back on the shot. Clay comes on. Clay jabs to the mouth. Jeffries drives a solid right into the body. And in close again, here's Clay returning, whipping the head. Here is Jeffries slamming the body again with left and right. Again, a left hand off the big arm of Jeffries. And as they step back from each other, here's Jeffries with a surprise smash to the head at the best.
Jeffries clearly took round 5, as Clay's hit-and-run tactics just couldn't save him from the Boilermaker's body attack. Now Guy LeBeau.
Cassius Clay in fine physical condition, so is his opponent, Jim Jeffries. Jeffries, the Boilermaker, has had one of the shortest successful careers in the history of this game. He has delivered telling blows against Clay tonight. At the center of the ring again, Jeffries is in jam position. Here's Jeffries sticking a good left to the face of Clay. Clay answers that with a hard hook to the head. Clay throwing swiftly, lands a left jab and hard right cross to the face of Jeffries, and Jim immediately ties his man up as Clay danced right into his grasp. This is Guy LeBeau with Murray Warner at the all-time heavyweight tournament. Jim has made a little money in the ring. He got $100,000 for his fight with Jack Johnson. Great money when you realize TV and radio were not present then. The referee separates them. It is Ruby Goldstein. This is a jam-packed Miami Convention Hall. Jeffries on the break, sends a hard right to the body. It jars Clay good. Clay has to hang onto the shoulders of Big Jim and has to tie him up. That was a good, solid shot by Jim Jeffries. Here's referee Ruby Goldstein out to the center of the ring, and again they break. Clay jabs two lefts to the head on the move. Jeffries swerves slightly to the left. Clay misses a left jab as a result, and Jeffries zeroes in, and there's a solid left hook to the head by Jim. Clay is thrust off balance. Jeffries puts a light left to the body. Clay alertly recovers at the last second. Man, he was in full range of Jeffries' cocked man to the body, and Jim Doss could only deliver with moderate impact. Now at the center of the ring again, here's Jeffries sending a left jab to Clay's head. Clay springs back with his own left hand, stopping Jeffries' hand in midair. A maneuver which Jeffries has seen a lot of. It was he who fought Jack Johnson, and Johnson knocked him out. Johnson, they say, initiated that style of hands, stopping hands in midair. Here's Clay on the move. Clay moves left and right, jabs a left hand to the mouth. Jeffries hooks a good left to the head. Jeffries charges Clay, sends a hard left and right to the body. Clay wrangles with him down at the midsection. Clay pumps a left to the head in close, and then goes skimming off, deciding not to clinch with Jeffries after all. Here's Jeffrey following him, missing the left jab. Jeffries trying to box Clay in on the ropes. Clay dancing around the ring faster than ever now. About 35 seconds remaining here in round 6. This has been a speedy fight. Here is Clay missing a left jab, landing a left jab. Clay flashes in now again with a hard left to the head, but Jeffries is ready. And there is a beautiful right under the heart by Jeffries, and a beautiful left hand to the midsection by Jeffries, and Clay simply has to dance away. Jim's ability to dope out something of what Clay will do makes it possible for him to deal with Clay's speed, and Jeffries' good firing power delays Clay every time there is hand-to-hand combat. It's the difference in this fight as I see it thus far. Seconds only remaining. There's the bell.
Round 6 was a repeat of 5, except Jeffrey shifted some of his action to the head. He just doesn't seem hurt at all by Clay's punches. Guy LeBeau.
In his day, Jim Jeffries dominated his field as Cassius does now. He retired undefeated, losing only when he made a belated comeback with Jack Johnson. Clay and Jeffries circle around at ring center here at the beginning of round 7. and it's Clay who starts by unleashing a solid left hook to the head, and Jeffries throws a strong looping right in turn. Clay wants more action, and I think he'll get it. Here is Clay with a good jab and forceful cross to the head. Jeffries, though, whacks the body and loops a vicious left to the head of Clay, who dances back. Jeffries is not carrying the left too high now, I must report, but he pumps it up and down in Clay's face, and it must be annoying Cassius. Here is Clay, feinting a left, cocking the right. Clay opens at the head again. Here's Clay with two solid hooks. Jeffries returns a big left hand to the head. Here's Jeffries with a straight left to the head, and Jeffries rocks Clay's head back with another solid left. Clay is off to another scene, and swiftly. He was really rocked that time. Now he moves back. Jeffries did not follow him. Clay moved virtually across the ring. Here's Clay running back. Here's Clay missing a left at the body in flight, but Jeffries is ready for him. Jim shoots a straight left, but it's only a glancing shot. Clay returns again, jabbing and sending a pretty right cross to the face this time. Jeffries misses a left hook at the head, and Clay moves inside, wheeling back from the right side of Jeffries to make his point. In close, Clay chops a right and another right to the face, and Jeffries puts a right to the body, and they move into a clinch. Clay's opponents have gone 6 rounds with him on average. Jeffries' opponents have gone 9. Strange when you realize Jeffries is clearly the stronger by a team of horses. The difference has to be in the field they dominated respectively. Now with 1 minute left in round 7 at the center of the ring, Jeffries hooks a solid left to the temple of Clay, and Clay goes rocking back as if stunned, but Jeffries doesn't follow him, and I can see why. It looks like just a little bit of an act that Clay is doing in order to drag Jeffries to a trap, and Jim simply will not fall for that one. So now Clay moves out to the center of the ring again. Here's Clay stabbing him out with the left hand. Clay catches a jab or two on his hands. Jeffries catches a couple on his massive hands. Clay is finally tapered and a finely developed athlete who won the Olympics light heavyweight crown for the USA. Jeffries flies at Clay with seconds remaining in this round. Here's a strong left to the head by Jeffries. Clay fights him back with a good left hook to the head, but nothing at all seems to hurt the Boilermaker Jim Jeffries. Jeffries has an opening. Here's Jeffries plowing a fine right hand at the body of Clay. Jeffries sizes a big factor that Clay has to deal with. Here's Clay taking another left and right to the body at the bell.
Clay switched and tried to mix with Jeffries in round 7, but Jeff's belt to the head made a believer of him. Now, Guy LeBeau.
Okay, Murray, the records say that Jeffries made a career point and took pride in giving every opponent he met a second chance at defeating him. This is certainly unique in boxing history, but Clay, too, has fought anyone and everyone and deserves full credit. Clay moves out swiftly at the center of the ring. Clay jabs a left to the face. Clay jabs another left to the face as Jeffries ties him up. Clay tries to wiggle his way free, but the big man simply has too many muscles for him in one place. Referee Ruby Goldstein is summoned from a neutral corner and comes out to help. Clay has had 29 fights, is undefeated, 24 of them knockouts. On the break, Clay takes a solid left to the body, and Clay moves immediately into another clinch. But you have to ask yourself, how solid is any blow to Clay's body or head if he's constantly in flight? The blow such as Jeffries just delivered would have been a disaster against some of the men he has fought in his career. But always Clay is wily, Clay is wriggling, he is weaving, he is always busy, very, very busy. Now referee Ruby Goldstein separates them. Clay is on the move. Clay suddenly stops short, putting a left jab and right cross to the head of Jeffries. Jeffries seems to take no notice of him. Jeffries is just moving forward to the right with Clay, moving to the left with Clay. Jeffries simply keeps sighting his target. Here's Clay, missing a left lead, and Jeffries lands a very good, solid left shot to the body at Clay. Clay tries his own left to the body, but misses, and badly. Clay has acted in this fight as if he forgot that Jim came fully equipped with body as well as head. At the center of the ring now, the big tank Jim Jeffries has his hat closed down very tightly. He's now in a very deep crouch, the kind of crouch they say he innovated, and it seems to strike Clay as being very funny. Clay is smiling. Clay just waves both hands in front of Jeffries. He has his big mitts out, and Jeffries does too, and here they are, wrapping each other across the forearms like a game of tit for tat. It's very interesting, but somebody's going to get hurt, and it isn't me. And now Clay moves into a clinch. This is a quarter-round battle between Cassius Muhammad Ali Clay and Jim Jeffries. Now on the break, Jeffries puts a hard left and right to the body. Clay jabs at the head. Jeffries is moving forward. Jeffries drives another hard left to the body. 30 seconds remaining. Here is Clay, raining a left jab at the head, a left jab at the face, another jab at the mouth. He is hurt by Jeffries' solid drive to the body from the right hand, but he keeps moving and jabbing, moving and jabbing. Jeffries trying to follow the advantage. Misses a left to the body, and Clay ties him up. Clay ties him up. Here's referee Ruby Goldstein speeding to the scene. Seconds only left to go in round 8. Now they break. Here's Jeffries belting again with a left to the body. A right under the heart by Jeffries. Clay stabs away at the face, and there's the bell.
Clay's light punches are annoying to Jeffries, but the hit and run isn't working because Jeffries gets those hard-scoring belts home. Here's Guy.
Okay, Murray. It must be very clear to Cassius Clay that he cannot win tonight's prize by outrunning Jeffries, although he can clearly outrun him. Cassius Clay and Jim Jeffries circling at the center of the ring. Clay puts a left jab to the mouth, another left jab to the head by Clay. Jeffries puts a light left to the head. Jeffries has his left hand extended fully and held fairly high, his body rocking back and forth in the classic old style. It has, though, a certain amount of deception in its motion. Clay misses a left jab to the head as Jeffries rocks all the way back from it. Clay cannot hit in exchange with Jeffries, that's for sure. The avenue left for Clay, then, is to out-punch him or out-jab him, it looks like, from here. Jeffries has thus far shown us at least two different methods of carrying his hands. Here's Clay again, taking a few liberties with Jeffries, putting a left jab and right cross, but leaving himself open at the body. But his fast legs prevent Jeffries from doing anything but hooking a light left to the midsection. Clay is going at a mile a minute. There's the left, jumping in on Jeffries once more. Here's Clay again, stabbing a left to the eye. Jeffries is moving in slowly. Jeffries is openly taking wearing punishment at the face. He is not bleeding because Clay's lefts are light. Clay doesn't allow himself even for an instant to set hard and power the punch. Jeffries has the skill, though, to make sudden turns and steps. Here's Jeffrey moving forward, rumbling like a rhinoceros on the hoof. Clay left jabs him, and Jeffries lands a solid left hook to the head, and Clay goes spinning back against the ropes. Jeffries had slowly but surely boxed him to the line. Here's Jeffries hooking another vicious left hook to the head, another left to the head, and Clay has gone down. The count is 3, 4, 5. He'll be all right. He'll be up at the count of 8. He was taking the mandatory 8 count as provided by the rules. He is back in action. Apparently, Jeffries hit him where he lives, and Clay dropped suddenly. Clay now seems all right. He has the condition to take the knockdown. He was not wilted when it came, and he is not wilted when he returns to action. But Clay has been knocked down, in case you just joined us, and the crowd here is roaring for Jeffries to finish him. But Clay is on the move very fast, and Clay ties Jeffries up to take the extra beat of rest. Here's referee Ruby Goldstein coming in very fast. He doesn't want to in any way slow down the Jeffries attack. Here's Clay on the break, taking a left to the mouth and a right to the body from Jeffries. And Clay gamely puts a left jab and right cross to the mouth of Jim. Clay fakes at the body and hooks a good left to the head. Clay is courageously coming back. Jeffries sends a good hook to the head, a right to the head by Jeffries. Clay is weak as Jeffries puts 2 more lefts to the head. Clay blocks 2 rights, jabs a left, and then takes a solid straight right to the head and moves into a clinch. And there's the bell.
You can bet Clay's going to shift into overdrive and stay away from the ropes because when Jeffries got him there, it was nearly all she wrote. Here's Guy LeBeau.
Clay was knocked down by Schmeling in their previous match in this series. Clay was jarred to his heels by Max in the fourth. In both cases, he made a fine comeback. We'll be looking for that for you now. Here at the center of the ring, here's Jim Jeffries trying a left hook to the head, but Clay blocks it beautifully in midair. Clay, however, on the offense, misses a right to the face. Jeffries tries a left to the head, and Clay parries that nicely, moving into a clinch. Referee Ruby Goldstein handles the third man chores in all of these bouts. Clay has been knocked down only 2 times in his career before entering this series. His opponents have hit the deck 26 times. And a good many of these times, people agree they never saw the blow on the break. Clay jabs a left to the mouth but moves back swiftly. Jeffries moves forward after him. Clay stops, puts a left to the chin. Clay is game, dead game. Clay puts a left jab to the face, a right cross to the cheek, and Jeffries has not really landed a blow of consequence. Here's Clay at his defensive best. Now here's Jim Jeffries charging at Clay, and Jeffries rips a good left to the body. Clay cushioned it slightly, just slightly. Clay now takes a right and left to the body, but in turn pummels the head of Jeffries, and they move into a clinch. Referee Ruby Goldstein coming from a neutral corner this time. This is a huge audience at Miami Convention Hall. We hope you're enjoying this match. Out at the center of the ring, Jeffries lands a long left and hard to the head of Clay. Jeffries tries it again, but Clay stops it in midair. And on the offense, Clay misses a left to the mouth, and Jeffries lowers his left hand and drives that hard to the body. Hard to the body, and Clay seeks an immediate clinch. Jeffries is one of the biggest and brawniest fighters ever to be in the ring. On the break, Jeffries again is punishing the side with a good left hand, but Clay brings his head up with a great straight right to the chin. That's Clay's best blow of the round and maybe of the fight. It's a very strong one, considering he's been thrashed well and knocked down in a previous round. Now they retreat, and now they square back at the center of the ring. That was a good blow by Clay. Jeffries tries a left at the head again and a right cross, and Clay beautifully stops both hands in flight. Clay puts a left jab to the head, but Jeffries is on the bomb again, and there he blasts the body, and there's a left to the body, and that left to the body is becoming much too potent a factor for Clay to deal with. Again, his attack is brought up sharp, and again it quiets Clay's speed, and again he seeks the clinch. About 20 seconds remain in this round, and now, as they're separated, Clay takes to the air again. Clay moves right, hooks with left to the head. Jeffries steams back with a good left to the head. Jeffries fires another left hook to the head, but Clay comes unwisely close to the big man and delivering his left hand. And despite the Clay advantage in reach, Clay is misjudging the range. There's the bell.
Clay has come back brilliantly from that 9th round knockdown. Jeff's mouth has now stopped bleeding. There's the bell, and here's Guy.
Cassius Clay and Jim Jeffries in a corking fight. The winner heads for a semifinal round. The winner takes a $10,000 gold and diamond belt. Now out at the center of the ring, Cassius has recovered considerably, remarkably, since his knockdown earlier. At the center of the ring, Jeffries tries a left hook to the head. Clay ducks, but he misses a right to the head in turn as Jeffries moves well to his left. Let's say that again. Jeffries moves very fast to his left and well. Clay now backs off. Jeffries is at his stance. There is Big Jim with the left hand partially extended. His right is churning at the side. It's cocked. Jeffries looks very businesslike. Here's Jim trying a long left to the head, but Clay fires a strong left jab and right cross to the mouth. Jeffries in turn brings a right uppercut to the chin, and Clay ties his hand at the right and now at the left and is in control for the clinch. Referee Ruby Goldstein coming from a neutral corner to our right to break up the tangle. Jeffries in his bout with Joe Walcott in this series was in control from the 3rd round on and finally KO'd Jersey Joe. But Jeffries has his hands full tonight. At the center of the ring again as action starts up, Jeffries tries a straight right to the head, but Clay manufactures a pretty combination. There's a left jab and right cross to Jeffries' head, a beauty. And there is Clay banging the head with a beautiful left hook. And Jeffries must be talking to himself. Those blows came so quickly. Jeffries moves out, now moves in, the tangle in close, and they go into a clinch. Ruby Goldstein again comes out to separate the men. This is Guy LeBeau with Murray Warner at ringside. Jeffries on the break rams the body with a straight right. That was a flame of beauty. But Clay comes back to stab his face and nose with a beautiful series of left jabs. Clay moving beautifully. Clay with another 1-2 to the mouth of Jeffries. Jeffries now sends a hard, straight left to the body of Clay, but Clay is always going somewhere. Jeffries now meets Clay coming in, and Jeffries sends a good right uppercut to the mouth, and Clay wrestles Jeffries to the right and against the ropes. About Jeffries, we've got to say, he simply has the power of a tree trunk. Now as they break out in the center of the ring, it's Jeffries stinging Clay with a good left to the body. But Clay now runs rings around Jeffries, looking for an opening, but Jeffries just 3 points the heavy artillery in every direction. Clay cannot find the opening for the good shots. Now Clay sees a little spot. Clay hooks a good left to the face of Jeffries. That's the same shot that KO'd Sonny Liston and thrown the same way while in flight, but it doesn't even shock the big man, who may be the strongest ever in this business. Here's Clay with a stiff, hard jab to the head. It rocks Jeffries' head back, but Jeff keeps moving in, and now in a neutral corner, Jeffries rips left and right to the body and hooks a solid left under the heart of Clay, and there's the bell.
Clay now landing at about a 2-to-1 rate, but it still appears the blows with the real muscle are scoring for Jeffries. Now Guy LeBeau.
Although Clay has been down in an earlier round, the computer keeps saying speed and agility is nullifying Jeffries' big bombs. We'll have to watch and see just how much. Clay moving dangerously in range, but Clay takes the offense. He rips the head hard with a swift left and right combination to the face of Jeffries, and I think he has busted that face up a little bit. I just can't see where. Jeffries, you remember, can bleed. He was cut to shreds by Bob Fitzsimmons in their memorable fight. Jeffries on the attack, misses a left to the head. Jeffries misses a right at the body. Jeffries is flicking his glove across his eye as beads of perspiration drip down. Clay circles. Clay menaces a left hand. Clay has both hands dangling at the side, and Clay is cruising around Jeffries. Jeffries aims a left at the body. It catches Clay on the arms. Clay dances up and down. Clay with arrogant flair sends a left jab and right cross at Jeffries, but Jim just keeps coming. He sort of brushed them off insofar as power was concerned. And here's Jim with a solid straight right to the body, but he can't seem to catch Clay at the head that well. Jeffries tries a left hook at the head, but Clay slips that beautifully, and Clay drives a straight right to the mouth of Jeffries, and that's where Jeffries is bleeding. I can see it clearly now. Clay is making a fine comeback run. There is still plenty of distance for him to come back, but he has the rounds left in which to do it in. At the center of the ring, Clay stabs a left to the mouth. Jeffries puts a solid left to the body. Jeffries misses the head once more. Clay just sways back on his heels, never moves a leg. He just makes Jeffries miss and miss and miss. Now on the lunge, Big Jim sinks a good right to the body, but Clay meets the challenge. Here's Clay sending a hard 1-2 combination to the chin, and Jeffries is beginning to look bloody. Before he bled, but now he looks it. And Clay's corner under Angelo Dundee is shouting, "Stick him, stick him." Clay's been doing just that. Now they move into a clinch with less than a minute left to go in this round 12. Out in the center of the ring once more, Jeffries beginning to look like he has been in a fight. Here's Jeff getting in a good solid left to the head of Clay. Clay comes back to hook a left and right to the head of Jeffries. Clay sends a short right to the body. Jeffries puts a strong left inside. Jeffries moves Clay toward the ropes. Jeffries lunges at Clay, but Clay sidesteps nimbly and neatly. Clay, as Jeffries returns, puts a light left and right to the mouth. Clay puts two excellent left jabs to the face. Clay takes a light right to the body. I don't know how effective Clay's punches have been on Jeffries. I do know this. They must make him dizzy. At least they do that to me. Here's Clay stabbing a left to the chin, a left to the mouth, a left to the nose, all by Clay, and there's the bell.
Clay has now upped his punching rate to 3-1, and some of his shots now have some real steam in them. The bell, Guy LeBeau.
This computerized dream match between Cassius Clay and Jim Jeffries seems to be heading these men toward a neck-and-neck finish. Jeffries with the big artillery. Clay with a very, very large variety. Clay continues to mount his attack. Here is Clay jabbing 2 lefts to the head, moving out, moving in and out, feinting, not throwing again the second time around. Clay now hooks a hard left to the head. Clay puts a left and right thrust to the face of Jeffries. And Jeffries is caught in a real shell burst of head blows right at the start. Jeffries, bleeding from the face, is looking for Clay. And now Jeffries finds him with a hard left to the body. And Jeffries had Clay down early, but now isn't sure if he has him in the ring. Here's Clay at blinding speed. Clay continuing to jab. There are 2 more left jabs to the mouth by Clay. This is the Cassius Clay that danced around Zora Folly at Madison Square Garden. This is the Clay who has humiliated a number of opponents by his blinding speed. But this is a Clay who is in awe of the man in there with him tonight. It is Jim Jeffries, who dropped him on the canvas earlier and nearly bent his body in with solid body shots. Now out at the center of the ring, it's Jeffries. Jeffries jabbing a left to the mouth, but again Clay returns, left jab, right cross, left jab, right cross to the head, and Jeffries has to seek the clinch. Here's Goldstein. Why hasn't Jeffries knocked Clay cold? Because they say that perhaps the good, strong boxer-puncher inevitably nullifies considerable punching power on sheer power. Jeffries took 23 rounds, I think it was, to knock out Jim Corbett. Here's Jeffries on the break. Here's Jeffries firing a good left to the body. And Clay is stung hard. But Clay is in full gear. And here's Clay turning southpaw to ram 3 straight rights to the head of Jeffries. Here's Jeffries following. A minute left. Jeffries is mounting a body attack. But Clay elusively slips his body from left to right in close. And Jeffries' power is simply blunted. Simply blunted. Now going into his crouch, here's Jeffries hooking a left to the head. It misses. Clay rams him hard with a straight right to the mouth. Clay backs off just as quickly as Jeffries comes charging at him with a big paw. Here's Jeffries putting a solid right to the body. Here's Jeffries furiously landing left and right to the body. But Clay rips a hard left hook to the head. Clay sends jab and crush to the mouth. Here is Cassius Clay, big and fast. Jabbing again to the mouth, jabbing to the nose. Here is a stinging left to the face of Jeffries. There's a straight right to the mouth of Jeffries. 2 more jabs to the head of Big Jim, all by Clay, and Clay is having a gorgeous round 13. Now they clinch in the center of the ring, where Clay has had the action most of the fight. There's the bell.
Unbelievably, Clay is now punching like a trip hammer. He looks far superior now to his appearance in the first part of this fight. Here's Guy.
This is round 14 between Cassius Clay and Jim Jeffries. Clay has had a good round, but there is distance to make up yet, I believe. They meet head on in the center of the ring. Here's Jeffries missing a left to the head, and Clay begins to speed around him once more in high gear. Here is Clay landing a good hard jab with the nose, but Jeffries just takes. He didn't seem to mind that. Jeffries now has his big mitts out in front. His left is held in jab style. His right fairly high at the face to protect his jaw. Clay, with those dramatic, highly laced white shoes, give him a glamorous look, goes flying around the ring. Clay jabs a left to the chest of Jeffries. Jeffries blocks a left at the mouth, but Big Jim is too much a pro to go out eagle hunting with a 22, so Jeffries patiently stalks Cassius. Here is Jeffries driving a vicious left to the body with Clay in good range, and Clay has to run back with an injured midsection, I'm sure. Here's Jeffries trying to move after him, but Clay is away too fast and too far. Jeffries is laying for Clay again. Here is Clay, though, coming back to stab a light left in Jeffries' eye. He sticks him twice in the mouth. Another left hand in the mouth by Clay. Jeffries blocks 2 more left jabs and misses a hook to the head. Of course, Jeffries knows that this high-flying bird has to come down sometime, but Clay is a picture to watch, and there haven't been many like him in the ring. Angelo Dundee, the nifty little manager-trainer, is shouting, "Stick 'em, stick 'em." I can hear that plainly. Here's Jeffries moving on Clay. Here's Clay nearly back in range. Whoop! He slipped on something in the ring as he was moving backwards, but he's okay. He didn't go down. He just lost balance for a moment, and Jeffries was nowhere near him. Clay has this convention hall packed to the rafters, struck with awe, but Clay's blows are not telling ones, and you can't win here in Miami through the back door. Jeffries knows this. Here's Jeffries leaping at Clay. He puts a strong left and right to the body. They're hard. But as he winds up for something more, Clay jabs and crosses well to the chin, and Jeffries seeks more peaceful climbing. At the center of the ring, they stumble against each other, and there's a clinch. Referee Ruby Goldstein speeding to the scene. Jeffries on the break, tries a straight right to the body. It lands on Clay's shoulders. Clay peppers Jeffries' face with lefts, but Jeffries submarines him with a neat straight right to the heart as they clinch again. And Ruby Goldstein moves a little slowly to the center of the ring, and he seems to be having thoughts about whether running is the name of the game. Ruby separates the men, casting a look at Jeffries as he does. Now at ring center again, Clay hooks lightly to the head, seconds remaining. Clay dances away. Jeffries plants a straight right under the heart. Jeffries puts left and right to the midsection at the bell.
Clay landed his best punches of the fight last round, for the first time appearing to really sting the Boilermaker. There's the bell, Guy LeBeau.
This is it, ladies and gentlemen, a fight that some thought would never get down this far, and yet here we are, Jim Jeffries and Cassius Clay. And a good round, I believe, could decide for either man. It's a fairly even go. Out at the center of the ring, Clay and big Jim Jeffries touch gloves. A loss for either of these men would not necessarily be a disgraceful mark. At ring center, Clay is on the jab cycle again and buzzing around Jeffries like some whirling dervish. Here's Clay jabbing the mouth, the chin, the face in what seems like a split second, so fast as that strong, long kick on the move. I'm not sure it's landing, but it certainly is going. Here's Jeffries in half a crouch, and here's Jeffries uncocking his own strong left jab, and Clay has to leave the neighborhood in a hurry. Now Jeffries lowers the guard, comes stalking forward, and comes for war. But here's Clay coming in and driving a hard left to the head. Clay moves to the right, and there he walks into a solid left hook by Jeffries, and Clay is thrown back half a foot at least. Clay is jolted, but he moves quickly off and on balance, and Jeffries cannot press his good fortune, at least not for the moment. Here's Clay closing in again. Clay feints a left, cocks his right, and I think he is being told the time by Angelo Dundee. Jeffries moving at him slowly. I think Jeffries is trying to narrow Clay's running room. Jeffries slashes a hard left to the nose, hooks a light left to the head, but traps Clay moving to the left, and he has him on the ropes. But Clay is fighting. Clay is fighting back. Here's a solid belt to the mouth by Clay. Here's a left jab and right thrust to the head of Jeffries, who's trying to find an opening for his right hand, leveled at Clay. Clay is fighting his way off the ropes, and Jeffries once again cannot spear his man. Jeffries is left at the stage door, and Clay runs for the nearest exit. He's free, and there goes the jab machine back to cycle again. Jeffries lunges at Clay. Clay jabs the left to the mouth and retreats. Clay suddenly stops. Clay drives a straight right to the mouth of Jeffries. Jeffries rips hard left and right to the body, and a light right to the head. Jeffries is trying to fry Clay right here and now. But Clay, although winged by the body shots, has the speed in reserve, and he ducks and dances away with hands turning and swinging like pendulum. Jeffries follows, but the prey is gone again. I think that both men will be standing when this fight ends. There is little left to the round, about 30 seconds. The crowd is now rising and crescendoing to support each man to stay it out. Jeffries is after Clay. Jeffries lets a solid left to the head, a right to the body, but Clay has come to mix, and Clay can punch. He can punch. And here is Clay again. A beautiful 1-2 to the mouth. Seconds only remaining. This may be a hard one to call. Did Clay come all the way back to victory? Clay dances away, jabs at the face of Jeffries. Jeffries returns a hard jab to the mouth. Clay in a final rally, pounding the head with lefts and rights, and Jeffries hooks a vicious left to the body at the bell. Everyone tonight has had his money's worth. The story of Jeffries' ability to meet a fast boxer puncher, I think, has been answered, and the question of Clay's courage, stamina, and ability to take it has been answered regardless of the decision. We'll have that decision in just a moment. Come in, Murray Warren.
Could you believe that in the last round, Cassius Clay landed at about a 4-to-1 ratio over Jeffries, shooting punches from everywhere. His left hand was like a rapier, flicking in or out at snake-like speeds. Jeff did jolt him with a hook, but the round was clearly Muhammad Ali's. Now, Paul Berman is in the ring, so let's get the official decision.
Outscoring Muhammad Ali in a close match, and we'll review the round scoring right after this message. We promised we'd review the round-by-round scoring on this fight tonight between Clay and Jeffries, and what a close battle it was, with the surprising great Jim Jeffries eliminating the Louisville Lip from contention for the all-time heavyweight tournament crown.
Right you are, Guy, and here's the way it went. Round one went to Jeffries on those successful right smashes to the body, while Clay played hit and run. The second round went to Clay as he combined hooks and fast motion and that good left jab. And though Jeff landed some in the round, it was definitely Clay's. The third round was all even, as both landed good shots to the head and body. Clay's volume of punches was offset by the hardness of Jeffries' shots and Jeff's aggressiveness. The fourth went to Jeffries again, as he landed those solid hooks to the body and straight shots to the head when Clay stopped the hit and run. Clay didn't throw a single really good punch in round 5. Lots of light jabs and motion, while Jeffries took the round, still smashing at the body.
Round 6 was almost a carbon copy of 5. Jeffries still managed to land the most effective punches, not as many as Clay, certainly. Far more telling, though, the 7th, Jeffries again, and when they really mixed things up, Clay was jolted again and again by the Jeffries shots, while the Boilermaker seemed to shrug off Clay's best efforts. In the 8th, Jeffries kept up his winning ways, keeping Clay moving backwards, and just took the light shots he was throwing to get close enough to land those jarring, bruising clouts of his own. Now, of course, the 9th was Jeffries as he belted Clay to the canvas with that solid left hook for the head after slamming him into the ropes with a set-up left hook.
Clay seemed to be rejuvenated in the 10th, as if certainly he had received the message from that knockdown. And he landed his best punch of the fight to that point. The round scored even, though, as Jeffries still landed those punishing body shots. Then in the 11th, Clay really seemed to go into overdrive. He doubled his speed and volume of punches and simply looked as if the knockdown never happened. He very nearly took this even round. In the 12th, Clay cut Jeffries' face and took the round on the sheer volume and type of punches as he landed hard to the head. The 13th, 14th, and 15th rounds were Clay's all the way as he danced, sped, and punched and looked as if he could go on for days. In these rounds, he was out-punching Jim Jeffries at a 3 or 4 to 1 rate and stinging him, too.
The finish was big for Clay Murray, but he started too late, and he just couldn't overcome the early round pileup of points scored by Jeffries. And the final tally still reads 7 rounds Jeffries, 5 Clay, and 3 even. Meaning, of course, that the loquacious guy from Louisville is eliminated from the all-time heavyweight tournament.
Putting Jim Jeffries, this tough Boilermaker, in the ring with Rocky Marciano, which could be a bloodbath.
And we'll be right back to talk about that fight.
Well, here we are, Guy, going into the semifinals of the all-time heavyweight boxing tournament. We started out with this series 11 weeks ago tonight. Now we finally know who our 4 final contestants are. Tonight's win adds a flavor of tradition to our semifinals, with Jeffries meeting Rocky Marciano 2 weeks from tonight. But next week, next week, that's the big one. That's the one I've been waiting for. That's the match that boxing fans have been talking about for at least 30 years.
You're right. Jack Dempsey versus Joe Louis, and they surely are the 2 fighters that people talk about most. There's not a ticket left for next week's big match. There hasn't been since the day after Louis beat Bob Fitzsimmons to win the semifinal spot across from Dempsey.
And if our NCR 315 doesn't blow all its fuses, circuit breakers, and little other do-jiggers, we're going to have a dandy. Well, you know, we asked Joe about the fight between himself and Dempsey.
Well, that's a fight I like to be paid for, not a fight. No, Jack is a great champion, and always was. I would have to say that I think he's the best of all time.
And there's Angelo Dundee, just back from Clay's dressing room, and of course, we have to put the question to him about what he thinks of next week's match.
Well, that's a classic. That's a classic, because you got the believers in Dempsey and you got the believers in Lewis. This is a tough fight because Dempsey might very well have Lewis down because he'll hit him that early shot and knock him down. I think it would be a rock'em sock'em fight. I think Dempsey will give his all. I think Dempsey will fall in the late round.
And Brother Chris Dundee has some opinions about the Dempsey-Lewis match, too.
Oh, boy. That's a dream.
Wouldn't you like to promote that one?
Yeah, I think Jack Dempsey would have knocked out Joe Louis.
Early or late?
The fight wouldn't last too long. Louis may have dropped Jack Dempsey down, too. That wouldn't have lasted too long.
First guy that landed a good right hand.
Well, no, I'd say the fight would go 2 or 3 rounds.
Now I want to find out about another great ex-champion, Joe Walcott, and what he thinks about how next week's fight's got to be going.
I think this would be a question of who would get in trouble first. I think whichever fighter got the other into trouble first would be the fellow who would come out on top, because both Dempsey was a tremendous one-punch fighter, and of course Lewis was a combination fighter.
Nat Fleischer, in his role as publisher of Ring Record Book, has gotten many, many inquiries over the years about Lewis and Dempsey. We asked him who he thought would win.
I think that Joe Louis-Jack Dempsey fight would have been won by Joe Louis. I think that Joe Louis's general all-around ability, his ringship and all, would have overcome the hitting power of Dempsey.
Jimmy Braddock, another man who saw most of the good heavyweights of recent times and fought lots of them. We asked him.
There's always been talk about how would Jack or Joe come out in a fight. That's the one I like to see. I'd have to say the guy that landed the first best punch would be the winner.
We asked Jack Sharkey, another great ex-heavyweight champion, to pick a single fight of all the heavyweights who ever lived that he'd like to see.
I don't know how many others have told you, what the others have told you. Perhaps I may be criticized for this. But Lewis, of course, naturally. And secondly, Dempsey. It would have been one magnificent fight because, as I say, that it's just a question of time when it would happen, and it wouldn't be too long.
Somebody's going to go. That's a punishment.
Dempsey,
They both hit so hard.
Dempsey rolled up in a little ball walking in, brother. And he's hard to hit, and boy, when he hits you even on the hip, he dislocated. If he hits you in the belly, his hand was sticking out your back. If he hits you in the shoulder, he'd break your... And the other fellow would be, at the same time, jabbing and right crossing. Of course, Joe would be waiting for that Dempsey to pull that left hand back or walk in with that left hook, and it'd have been one sensational fight.
It'd be one of these that from the moment the first bell rang, there'd be punches thrown from both sides.
There wouldn't have been any hesitation, but once the bell rang, that's all there'd been to it. They'd have gone to work, and that would have been that. You just wait for who's who. It's a toss-up as to what had happened. I know somebody got murdered.
And then when we turned to Rocky Marciano and said, Rocky, what about Jack and Joe?
Wow. If I knew that one, I'd probably be some kind of a prophet. I just don't know. That's the age-old question. It would be some fight. It would probably be the fight of the century. I guess that anybody's fight. Luck here might even play a part, because you just couldn't give either one of these two men the edge or an opening or the advantage. They were just two great fighters.
Here's Hank Kaplan of the World Boxing Historians Association. Hank, how do you see next week's fight between Joe Louis and Jack Dempsey?
This fight presents the ingredients of one of the most sought-after matches in all heavyweight history. Both are great punchers with either hand. This fight would ordinarily call for a knockout, but I believe, as in past fights which were contested by great punchers, the contest will go the limit. With Jack Dempsey piling up most of the points and a couple of knockdowns on the way.
It's Dempsey's great left hook to the jaw and right hand to the body against the Brown Bomber's straight right to the head and powerful left jab.
We'll be back in just a minute with tonight's wrap-up.